This is such an interesting release to me for a variety of reasons. Now, everyone is talking about the downscaling angle. What do I mean by that? Well, when Morgan was originally released in 2017, he was a Super Chase Deluxe. He was in the oversized line, which, well, simply put, doesn't exist anymore today. Mattel canceled it a couple years ago. So in order for them to bring Morgan back, they had to shrink him down a bit. And so we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison in just a couple minutes to see just how much smaller he truly is. I'm excited for it, but I'm also a little scared because while it's cool to have this character back, it's also sad that he is going to be inaccurate. He is now out of scale with the rest of our characters. And the same thing happened with Red a couple months ago, and we talked about that and compared him to his previous versions in that video. I don't think it was quite as bad for Red though, because he had already been released in this smaller scale from 2006 to 2010 before he was upscaled in 2011. The angle I want to take a little bit more with Morgan, because no one else is talking about it, is he is now joining the ranks of Vitaly Petrov and Frosty as some of the only characters that have been brought back after their initial Super Chase releases to receive variant paint jobs. Frosty obviously went on to get Silver, Neon, Carbon, Ice variants. Vitaly got an Ice variant. Morgan here, out of the blue, also joins an expanded universe line, being the Race and Rescue. So guys, Morgan here came out of 2025 singles case Y, the second to last case of singles for the year, along with a couple other in the expanded universe line like Jeff Gorvette. So I put up a poll because I really had no idea who to review first. And I asked you guys yesterday, who do you want to see first? And in a tight contest, Morgan won. And so to the victors go the spoils. Did not even have to include Sally in that poll. I think we all knew she would have lost to these juggernauts. Some of the best releases, I think, in the expanded universe line. Unlike Sally, in my opinion, Morgan actually makes sense to include, although I'm not sure I would have included him because, like I said, in order to include him, you had to downscale him. And so I would have opted for somebody that I didn't have to screw up in order to put into the line. New for 2025, we know that Radiator Springs Race and Rescue, that is the logo that is featured here on Morgan, whereas some of the other cars get a variant logo. You can see Sally's is a little bit different. Sheriff had one of the most different ones with this yellow logo, or gold, which looks pretty cool. You also get to see Morgan Martin's artwork for the first time. I just dropped an ambulance because, yeah, there's actually a bunch of ambulances that we need to compare Morgan to, not just his previous version. But yes, in 2017, when he was first released, it was obviously Cars 3 era, slanted Cars 3 logo, took over the card art for everything. 2-packs, multi-packs, singles, deluxes. It was horrible. Wasted a lot of great opportunities to have some really cool looking packagings, but alas, now we get to see what his artwork looks like. I have seen someone like reverse engineer this to show how his art would have looked to represent just like his normal paint job, which is pretty cool. I do think this artwork existed back in 2017. They just never had to use it because that wasn't how they were doing packagings that year. And now they just already had it in their files, repurposed it for Race and Rescue, just like they're doing for all the other cars in the series. But we've already seen everyone else's artwork before. So in that way, I think it looks good. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of hating on it. I think it looks solid. I think people are more so just jarred by the fact that you're getting a larger character in a single pack, but he's still rescaled, doesn't look quite right. Like, I understand that. Like, he looks a little, I mean, he's still a big car. He's one of the bigger cars you'll ever see in the main line. But like I said, I mean, he's still smaller than he used to be and how he should. On the back, you can see Jeff Gorvette and Sally from Case Y as well. You have Race and Rescue Luigi and Guido from Case X, and then Red and Jackson Storm from Case W. I'll leave the link for the unboxing of Case Y in the description below, and card suggestion pop-up in the top right-hand corner. Really good case. You get all these new Race and Rescue / Rally Race releases. You get some good re-inclusions. Cho's back. Masha Ellswrench is back with a corrected card art. We're always talking about card art. And with Masha, they really knocked it out of the park. And I mean, I don't know. Should we be praising Mattel for correcting one of their most egregious mistakes? I don't know. Topic for another day. But yeah, this guy's going to be very rare. I'm just going to tell you guys, he's going to be very rare. He's rescaled. It's an expanded universe line that no one seems to really care for, but he's still going to be very rare. Trust me, people are going to want to buy this guy when they see a $4 ambulance on the pegs. Like, yeah, I mean, he's still, like I said, one of the bigger cars you're going to be able to get. And that means something, especially to the younger fans. But I'll be right back with Morgan Schmartins here all opened up. Another funny thing about Morgan is that he doesn't really appear in Cars 3. When McQueen crashes, you see all the rescue vehicles running his way, the Radiator Springs townies charging toward him there in the turf. But it kind of pans in the darkness before you see everybody I think they intended for you to see. And I will put that image there up on the screen for just a second. So yeah, Morgan kind of a non-canon character. He's kind of a Masha Ellswrench of Cars 3. He's kind of a Brian Gierlewski almost, but we all know he does exist. Like Stu Scattershields, I think might have also supposed to have appeared in this scene, but we don't see him until the like Ryan Inside Laney interview later on in the movie, and that is kind of a coincidence in and of itself. But yes, let's dive in here with Mr. Morgan. We're just going to look at his decals first and foremost and then get into the comparison here. He's got a nice cute smile. He's looking a little chubby. I feel like he looks thinner on the Deluxe. Yeah, I mean, he definitely does, because now you got almost the same amount of width, but way less height. So he naturally is going to look a little bloated. You got the black side view mirrors there. Bumper, grill, all looking good. The grill is slitted, and so you could feel the grooves. You got red wheels. Sally, I think, is the only race and rescue car that has mixed wheels, along with Lightning McQueen. So Sally and Lightning McQueen have these mixed wheels. All of the rally racers have mixed wheels, which is kind of an interesting thing. I feel like Sally should not have those mixed wheels. McQueen, it looks fine because of the way his paint job is done, and I think all the rally racers look pretty good with the mixed wheels. Thankfully, though, they did not do that on Morgan here. The red wheels look nice. Using the traditional race and rescue logo makes a lot of sense to me. I understand, again, if Sally is going to get her own and Sarge gets his own here and Sheriff gets his own, but the characters that actually make sense being like in the line, like in a rescue capacity, Red, Adam Roadriguez, I guess Mater, and Morgan as an ambulance, like those all check out in my brain. Those all compute. It's like, okay, yes, race and rescue, fire, police, keywords. Sally? What? Doesn't compute. We'll talk about her in her video. But yeah, I like the red stripes here. I like the rescue tax. We see the rescue tax in yellow a lot. And so seeing it here in red, that might be the first time, because you get it here in yellow on Red. You get it in yellow on McQueen. You get it in yellow on Mater. You get it in yellow on Adam Roadriguez. Sheriff, you get it in yellow. Sally, yellow. So seeing it in red actually looks pretty good. I know it's kind of a nerdy thing to think about and talk about, but that's what we're here to do. He retains his race division 17 decals, and we'll see that on the regular Morgan in just a moment. I love the lights. I love how they protrude. This is all plastic, though. The only part that has die-cast metal is the front. So while, like I said, this is one of your bigger cars you'll get in all of the Disney Cars die-cast line, it's definitely not going to be the heaviest because this is all plastic. Fillmore beats him by a landslide in terms of weight. But yeah, I really like how they designed the ambulance portion here, the trailer, whatever you want to call it, with the parallelogram, yellow stripes. The logo looks really good. This one was one of the easier ones to recreate the graphics for the thumbnail. This has been very difficult. Like, the process of making the thumbnails for all these has been extremely difficult because, like I said, some of them have their unique race and rescue logos that are not just easy to pull from Google Images, and they have all these weird stripes and colorings, and everyone has its like own unique element. And then when you have the 2-packs, you have to merge them. I don't know. Hope you guys have been enjoying the thumbnails. I think my thumbnails for Sally, Jeff, and Morgan here are going to look pretty good. I feel like I did a good job with those ones. But on the back, you do get kind of an abbreviated or simplified version of the Race and Rescue logo there. And we have seen this before. Similar, almost identical here on Sheriff. It's just more yellow and black versus yellow and navy blue. You keep back. You have the Race and Rescue text there on the top, which is a little strange. I'm not sure I like that. I'm not sure I vibe with that. Didn't really vibe with it on Lightning McQueen. Just seems a little too on the nose. Similar like to the road trip logo that McQueen had in that show. RSD or RSQ, so Rescue Squad Medic, is the license plate. Looking good. They got like the blue bumper here, the taillights, textured. Very nice. The side's the same. And on the roof, you have Race Division 17 in big letters and the Race and Rescue logo that also is quite massive. But I think it looks really good that way, actually. I think that's probably the best way you could extract that logo is just take a picture of Morgan or even just scan him on your printer if you have one. Just put him upside down on the scanner and send that over to your computer. That honestly might work. On the base here, you can see he was made during the 22nd week of 2025 at the A factory. That is what that means. Made in Thailand, we know. Lots of screws because this is plastic. Rivet for the fronts, or the 2 rivets, actually. That's kind of crazy. They needed 2 for that small die-cast cab. I know you guys are waiting for the side-by-side comparison, but first, let's acknowledge that Mattel has also done a mini racer version of Morgan Martins that I would contend looks pretty good. I think he looks a little bit more proportional than the 155 scale diecast. The cab just looks so chubby to me. And it's probably because we've seen the Deluxe and this is just so much smaller. But yeah, the mini racer version has been released as a single in the latest wave. Astro Smokey was able to hook me up with this one, and you guys will see that in a mini racer unboxing soon. The one I already have loose here is a prototype, as you can see from the stamped code there on the hood. So just wanted to throw that in here as well. All right, it is time for the side-by-side comparison. China, Deluxe, Thailand, single, regular, Super Chase versus Race and Rescue. So yeah, he is significantly smaller. I would say by a factor of, I would say he's like 1/3 smaller, which is significant. That is quite significant. The cab is made to look, it just looks so much thinner and not as stubby or, fat. Let's be real. I don't know. It's a odd transition to go from this to that. But again, it's kind of what has to be done when you're squashing someone down, downsizing them. Did go from the black bumper to a gray one. The expression is similar, but stretched out like it's flattened almost. And again, these are all related to, like, if you just take an image in Microsoft Word and it's like, all right, I need this to fit in like this box. You're making a presentation for school or work or whatever, and you don't downsize, you don't reduce the size proportionally. You like unlock the 2 axes, and this is getting technical, but you could do this. Usually when you're resizing images, it is locked like on both sides so that when you like enlarge it via the angle, I don't know. This is getting super technical, but basically they shortened him without making him any thinner. They reduced the height, the y-axis, without reducing the x-axis all that much because he is almost still just as wide as he used to be. They should have definitely moved that in a little bit. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents here, but it is getting a little under my skin right now. But we'll move past that. All right, so on Morgan here, he had the Race Division 17 and the Rescue Race Division logo here with the checkered flags because he was working for the Piston Cup. Now he works for whatever Race and Rescue is, whoever that is. Well, I don't know. I mean, Radiator Springs now, I guess he works for. It doesn't make much sense until hopefully we get the book of answers in September. Everyone's telling me, Mr. Dockett, wait for the book to come out. It'll answer everything. I hope it answers why Sally's got cones on her head and why Morgan Martins is now in Radiator Springs. But yeah, kind of flipped out the blue stripes for these red ones. Changed up the decals completely here on the side. So it is quite an overhaul. They did leave that Race Division 17 text there in the front. Just changed it from black to the navy blue. I really do like actually how they modified the decals to fit the Race and Rescue theme, but also maintain, you know, the roots of Morgan. I mean, he is very loyal, it seems, to this Race Division 017. Respect, right? Instead of the two medical logos here on the back, you have the RR logos. You have Keep Back still, instead of just Rescue, which makes sense. Now you got Race and Rescue. Instead of the gray bumper, you now have the blue bumper. Got a much clearer look at his license plate. Carburetor County. You know what? Maybe they planned for this because Carburetor County, isn't that the county that Radiator Springs is in? Pretty sure it is. But obviously, you know, when Morgan was supposed to have appeared, that was like Los Angeles. Yeah, he was at the Los Angeles International Speedway. So maybe it makes sense that he actually is working in Radiator Springs. I'm trying to headcanon. I'm trying to contextualize it. Just wait for the book, Mr. Dockett. It'll clear up everything, I promise. So guys, how much smaller truly is he? Well, he is about 1.25 inches. That looks like to me shorter. He is about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. Yeah, so shorter meaning this, and in terms of length, about 1.5 inches, somewhere in that region. And in terms of width, the trailer component is a little bit thicker. But like I was showing you before, the cab part, pretty much the same until you get to including the step boards there. So very interesting, guys. I think they did what they could. My only gripe, like I've said now, I think you needed to make the cab more narrow, thinner, so it doesn't look as chubbified. Because he had like a very thin face here. It looks pretty good. And now he just kind of looks a little cartoonish because of that distorting certain features in order to make the character look cuter. I feel like that's not the business that Mattel should be in with Disney cars, right? I don't think so. So guys, other ambulances. The first ambulance we ever got was a Rescue Squad ambulance here in 2010, early 2010. And yeah, she is pretty massive. Morgan Martins cowers in the shadows of Rescue Squad ambulance here. Rescue Squad ambulance was the true definition of a deluxe, and there were times where you even got her in multi-packs as well. She even got a release. Now, she is very similarly sized to Morgan, I will give you that. Like, it's pretty much a direct repaint. But the thing with the Rescue Squad ambulance, I don't know, Rescue Squad ambulance just has a little bit more, like, aura about her. I feel like these lights stick out a little bit more. I think they do, actually. I really do. But they're very similar in size, though. So it's unfair to Race and Rescue Morgan to say that he cowers in her shadows, because pretty much the same size as 2017 Morgan. Then we got Dr. Feelbad in later 2010. A little bit more, actually, in scale with Morgan, which is funny. If you take off the monster truck tires and you just compare Morgan to Dr. Feelbad's chassis up here, or just the body itself, they're actually almost identical. Morgan's got a little bit of length in the cab there. Who would have thought? You would have said Morgan's actually not the smallest ambulance. Well, if you said that, you probably also forgot another character we're going to be getting here momentarily. But it certainly isn't Alfredo, our Italian Cars 2 ambulance, my favorite, just because of how unique the model is. I love that this is all die-cast. There's no cab, there's no trailer component, it's all one. So Mattel had no excuse to cheap out on the plastic versus die-cast. But yeah, I mean, Alfredo is a little smaller than the other ones, but I do think that's accurate to the movie. See, the thing is with Morgan and Rescue Squad Ambulance, I could definitely see how you could fit a car in there. In fact, when Rescue Squad Ambulance was released in a playset, the plastic version of her in that playset had opening back doors, so you could fit cars in the back of her. I'm not sure if you could close the doors, though, but Alfredo's a little too thin, I think, and a little too short to really feasibly put a car in him. Then our most recent ambulance being Dr. Damage here, who is the smallest of them all. And does this, guys, does this kind of expose Mattel? Like, all right, Dr. Damage has always been a deluxe. And now here we are. Morgan Martins is bigger than him. So does that mean, like, first off, Mattel was kind of cheap and, like, they were kind of scamming us with Dr. Damage and some other deluxes, like Alexis Wilson, let's be honest. Alexis Wilson has no business being a deluxe. Or you could look on the bright side and be like, well, that means we could still get Dr. Damage released in his normal scale in the future. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? We'll see, guys. I think it's definitely possible we see Dr. Damage back, because they definitely can't do Miss Fritter without really downscaling her, but they could definitely do Dr. Damage. This whole back part's plastic, the front's die-cast, just like Morgan there. They're vibing together. Fast friends now. Morgan feels a little less insecure about his size because Dr. Damage is actually smaller than him. And Dr. Feelbad just has some big wheels, big tires. Other than that, he's also right there with them. So guys, let me know your thoughts. What the hell do you think about Morgan Martins here in his rescaled form? What do you think about the race and rescue line as a whole? There have been some ups and downs, I would say. Overall, it's growing on me a little bit. I do find some of the castings amusing. I like Guido. I like Morgan here. I like Mater. Sarge, not so much. McQueen is fine. I like Red. Adam Roadriguez is whatever. Some of the rally racers are a little hit and miss, like Cruz, but I love Chick Hicks. I think Cal, Jeff, and Danny are going to be great. So yeah, lots of ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know this one went on for a while, but there's a lot to talk about here, guys. So thanks as always. I'll see you soon for another video. Bye now.